Alright, welcome back. Once again, I'm Cold Warp Gates. I'll be your host. I usually stream on Thursdays. Had to cut this one short. And after 2 series, I had too much mucus. But I'm feeling much better now, and I'm pretty sure I can power through the last 3 series here. Just to do a recap. These are games from the semifinals. The score right now is going to be 9-7. So Attitude Plus needs to win every one of these series to move on to the finals, and Destructoads just needs to win 1. So all of these series are going to be pretty important, going to be pretty close. With that being said, let's just get right back into the games here. We have Gurthang against Dromar. It's going to be a PVZ, which is great because it's a matchup I can pretend to know things about. Alright, here we go. In the top right, the orange Protoss fighting for the Destructoads. It's Gurthang. And in the bottom left of Eclipse, in the, I don't know, kind of, I guess, grayish-green Zerg, it's Dromar for Attitude Plus. So, Eclipse is a map that Zerg players do not like in any matchup, I think. It's not, like, unplayable, but things about how it's your third base, kind of uncomfortably far from your natural, and then the bases beyond your third base, like your fourth and fifth, are pretty far away and pretty open. It tends to make it uncomfortable for Zerg. Looks like Gurthang. Actually, I'm not sure what this. Like, we're gonna have like a Nexus before Derby. I think this must be a gateway. We must be about to see a gateway first, maybe even a gateway on 9. Just a little bit more aggressive there. Oh, not bringing in probe. Oh, alright. Said not to get a gateway at all. Gonna scout out here. Probably gonna get a forge then. Meanwhile, in the base of Dromar, it looks like it's gonna be a hatchery first. Completely fine in this matchup. The most standard build is the Overpool, of course, but like honestly, I feel like Zerg should be doing 12 hatch more. I feel like the only thing you really have to worry about is Cannon Rush, and Cannon Rush is pretty bad. Here we go. Gurthang does get the fast scout off here. What kind of reaction is going to be? Are we going to have maximum confidence? Yes, we are going to go Nexus on 13 here before Forge. Of course, once you see the spawning pool at this time, you know, you're probably going to be fine. I definitely want to see Forge fall up. There we go. Eclipse, while it is a 2-player map, the rush distance is pretty decent, so there should definitely be time to get that cannon up for Gurthang. A nice way to react to the hatchery first opener here. No, actually, so one of the things about Eclipse, it does allow for a variety of Protoss walls. I usually go for like the pylon here, and then like Forge and a gateway, and you end up with like a bigger gap up here. So this is more defensive, which makes sense for going Nexus first, although the pylon was placed before that, of course. It just means that we'll have to kill this egg later on to get units out of here. Like, I'm pretty sure Dragoons can go over here once we kill the egg. Oh, look at this. Gurthang being really annoying here with this probe, blocking the third hatchery, forcing a Dromar to actually go up here. It looks like Dromar is going to go to the top left. Oh, okay, maybe I misclicked, but it does give time for Gurthang's probe to get here. Every Zerg's nightmare. Oh, here we go. A Dromar very wisely sending out a second drone. So, you know, one of these 2 drones is going to be able to expand. And actually, I'm really curious to see how this choice of third base will go down for Dromar. Because the thing about these 2 bases down here is, like, I feel like if somebody can secure both of them, they're basically unkillable. Like, they're both protected by a small little ramp. They're kind of out of the way. Zerg definitely has the ability to hold a ramp in this matchup with Sunks and Lurkers. And the thing is, like, I don't think Gurthang is going to scout here anytime soon. I would not check one of these bases as the potential third base location. I would not think of them being taken until much later in the game. Let's see, what do we have going on here? No follow-up tech just yet for Gurthang. You almost always see either the Stargate or the Citadel, let me put it that way. Don't seem to see anything just yet. Kind of curious what this follow-up is going to be here. We do have a Spire for Zerg. Alright, there we go. The Stargate is started. Just a little bit too late. Like, there's no way that you're going to need this cannon before the Stargate up here. Just a small little thing to change. I mean, really, you want to start the tech right after the Cyber Core. It doesn't have to be Stargate, but it certainly helps. It's definitely the easiest way to play, I think. Just to get one Corsair and scout out the Zerg. Now, we have a really fast Robo here. You won't need the detection for a long time. We could be about to see some kind of Corsair Reaver, which would be really cool. But if not, you really just don't want to spend the money on the gas for the Robo this soon. So I'm interested to see how Gurthang is going to use that. Here we go. Dromar investing in this third base, getting this really useful SimCity here, going to make it that much harder for any kind of Zealot push to bust. But since we don't even see a +1 ground or a Citadel, I am leaning more towards this actually being Corsair Reaver, which is really sick. I don't think I've seen this in the CPL. Now, it can be really tempting to kill the first Overlord with your first Corsair, right? But I think like 90% of the time, you want to just skip over this Overlord and go scout the Zerg, especially with your Stargate was just a little bit late. You know, because you can always come back and kill the Overlord, but it's very critical to see what Zerg has been doing. Now we actually do have the support bay here, so it is going to be Reaver. I'm pretty hyped to see how this goes. A Corsair Reaver is really hard to micro. You know, all your units are so fragile, like Scarabs can dud, but if it works really well. Alright, so we actually didn't see that much investment in the air for Zerg. You know, not a lot of Scourge and no Mutas. So we are going to have a lot of Hydras here. The Corsairs themselves will not be useful immediately, but the Reavers are really good against Hydras in the right conditions. I don't think we've seen Protoss scout the bottom right yet. No, we have not. So that hidden base continues to be hidden there. Dromar just getting those Hydra upgrades. Probably confused about the absence of a Zealot rush. You know, probably trying to wonder what's going on here. I think Gurthang is just confused. Because, like, if you saw Zerg was on 2 bases and making Hydras, then I think you'd be totally fine turtling up like this. But, like, you don't need all of these cannons when you already have a Reaver and you're making more. Like, yeah, and we definitely don't need 2 Stargates when the Zerg is just going Hydra. But, you know, it's hard to tell that when you're in-game. Like, you know that you blocked a Zerg's third, and now you still see they only have 2 bases. Like, you're going to think that they're going to all in you. Starting to add more gateways. Oh, we have a fleet beacon up here. I wonder if Disruption Web has already been researched while I wasn't paying attention. Maybe are we going to see carriers? That would be sick. Alright, we have the Corsair fleet popping out here looking for opportunities to deal damage. Actually going to fly right by this third base. Don't think they're actually going to see... Oh, they do see the creep. So Gurthang should know that there is a third base there now. A bunch of Overlords grouped up here, but also plenty of Hydras to scare away these Corsairs. Good positioning for Duromar there. Oh, there we go. There's D-Web. Hopefully, a Gurthang has been playing Micro Tourney. Gotta get practice with that D-Web. Now, let's see. This shuttle could potentially get a lot of damage done in this third base, especially if the D-Web support is really nice. But Reavers are pretty fragile. If these Hydras can run up and just kill the Reavers, this third base will be safe, and that'll be a significant loss for the Protoss. At the same time, Duromar is gathering up outside of the Protoss base. Fortunately, we already have one Reaver on the defense and a second one on the way. Reavers on defense are so good when you're just trying to walk into the Scarabs. Here we go. We have these Reavers dropped kind of behind the minerals here. No D-Webs, and the shuttle is sniped immediately. I think this drop is going to just barely get cleaned up. A bunch of Hydras die. At the same time, Hydras try to bust the natural of Protoss. This Reaver is just hanging out in the back. There we go. Scramble to build some Scarabs. Try to defend this wall of cannons here. I think if these Reavers just need to be in the fight just a little bit. I don't think Protoss will die here. Oh, here we go. Sick D-Webs all over the place. Oh no, you gotta shoot with the Reavers. There we go. Actually pretty sick D-Webs here. Preventing the Hydras from finishing off Protoss. Very close to busting here. Same time, it seems like that drop is completely over. The Corsairs were getting some Overlord kills, but they've now returned home to cast D-Web to keep these Reavers and cannons alive. Just like I've been saying, the Reavers are so fragile. If you make like even a little mistake like that, you get just run over immediately. We have 6 gateways trying to pump out Zealots, but the speed upgrade is slow. There's no +1 attack. There's already a bunch of upgraded Hydras. And Duromar is going to take this. I really hope that we see more Corsair Reaver. I think, like, you know, just a few small improvements and it would have done much more damage. Double. Oh, we got carriers. Alright, just try to hold off until Gurthang can get some carriers. As cool as they are, they're actually, like, not that good in this matchup. D-Web, or not D-Web, Dark Swarm basically completely shuts them down. And then you have Plague and things like that. Yeah, just like Superman is saying in chat, like, the execution of Corsair Reaver is way harder than the standard Protoss build in this matchup. Oh god, we even have Lurkers here on the ramp of Protoss, just about ready to camp the gateways. I'm pretty sure Gurthang is just sticking in the game until these carriers pop. No! Oh my god, just wait 10 more seconds and just get a carrier. But Duromar takes the first game here with the safe and standard Hydra Man play here. Let's get into game 2 on Fighting Spirit. Alright, we have the Navy Protoss in the top left. A Gurthang winning our hearts with the Corsair Reaver, but not winning the game. And on the bottom left, the Magenta Zerg Duromar. So, a fighting spirit, you know, of course, like one of the old. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the oldest map that still gets played. Kind of infamous for being around forever. It's pretty much the most standard map. In this matchup, the third bases are pretty defensible for both sides. So I guess we tend to see like slightly longer games on this map. It's also pretty good at the larva style, like take another natural as your third base and then take a quick fourth base in the main. But that hasn't been popular for a while now, so I don't think we'll see it. But then again, maybe a Girthang will block the third hatchery so hard that a Dromar will just have to do it. Okay, Girthang mixing it up here, getting a gateway first this time. Definitely a very popular build right now, just speeding up your tech compared to Forge Expand and allowing you to put on some pressure early, even though Zergs are getting better at, you know, not dying to the gateway first, but they still get forced to spend larva on Lings when they would like to be drowning. There we go, both players scouting each other first. Dromar going for hatchery first again. Much to my frustration, hatchery first is actually like better against gateway first than Overpool is. I think 11 hatch is the best way to stop gateway expand. It's just because although your Lings come out later, you just have way more larva. So it's really difficult for gateway expand to do any damage at all. But if the gateway player sees the hatchery first, you can actually stop after one zealot and get your Nexus really quickly. Yeah, you definitely don't need a Forge. But this is one of the reasons why newer players are generally recommended to go Forge Expand. There's just fewer decision points like this. It's you very rarely need a Forge before Nexus when you can go Gateway first. Pretty much only against like a 9 pool or something like that. Getting a drone here. Already a decent start, forcing 3 larvae to be spent on Lings. Oh, there you go. You know, I said that it probably wouldn't happen, but Dromar has taken this Unnatural as their third base. We could see the Turtle Zerg style come out here. The Zealot does get cleaned up in the main of Zerg. Dromar should be free to drone for a while here. Girthang getting that Nexus. Already 3 Zealots here, so I don't think we're going to see a run by or any damage here dealt by Zerg, really. It's always really annoying when they try to kill your gateway, but with this cannon almost done, Pro should be fine. Especially with a little bit of micro to poke at those Lings. Alright, so the game is going to pacify here for a little bit. Both players are going to get a chance to make their tech choices. Then we'll be able to see where this game is going to go here. The natural Nexus is done. Should see those probes get transferred soon. Seems like the gas is just a little bit late here. It's alright, we're going to get 2 gas really quickly. Oh my, you know, I don't think we're going to see that turtle style, at least not yet, because we are going to see 3 hatch Hydra from Dromar. So is Girthang going to be able to sniff this out? I don't know, given that we already have Lings blockading the front here. And this little gas pickup could make their first Stargate late. Oh, we're not going to have a Stargate. We are going to have a Citadel. So if we go straight into like 3 Gateway Speed Zealot, that can be a good way to stop 3-Hedge Hydra. Obviously, it's more vulnerable to mutas, but we're not going to worry about those in this game. Do want to see the +1 attack start. There you go. It's actually just a bit more optimal to start the +1 and then build a Citadel, because the timing works out. Like, they both fit, both the speed upgrade and the +1 will finish at almost the same time that way. Okay, let's start the speed upgrade. Hope we see that started soon. Definitely very useful against these Hydras that we're about to see. There we go. And we have Hydras starting to cross the map already. Actually, 7 links, or 7 pairs of links in production. I'm kind of surprised by that. I know you want some links to go with your Hydra bust, but I think the ratio is a little bit off here. We'll have to see what Dromar does with the next set of larvae, because Zerg can either try to follow this up with drones or just go all in with more Hydras. One of the reasons why you want a Stargate is to see what is happening with those larvae, to see how many cannons you should build. And Gurthang is kind of panicking here, building a bunch more cannons, but they're in a weird position, so not super helpful against these Hydras. Fortunately, there are some Zealots here to try to body block, but the Hydras are focusing down the cannons. There we go. The probes are being pulled. I think Protoss might actually have enough to break this for now, but it seems like there are going to be way more units streaming across the map. We're about to have 5 cannons up in this kind of L formation here for Protoss. Even getting an observatory. I saw we had this fast robo again. I wonder if we're getting Reavers, but we're going straight into observers. Maybe worried about being lurker contained. Now, I like this DT, but I don't see how it's going to get out of the base. It actually would be really sick if there was a shuttle here to drop that DT. Forage is under fire here. Gurthang trying to save the +1 upgrade, but it's not worth it if you lose all of your Zealots. Cannon's getting picked up, but there's not that many Hydras behind it. Probes not sure what to do, but the Hydras do get cleaned up by the cannons. Meanwhile, we see Dromar building 2 more hatcheries. So it seems to be returning to macro play here, seeing that the bust is not going to get the easy kill. We have DT here, but Dromar was prescient enough to bring 2 Overlords with him. I'm still really curious about this robo. Dromar not letting off the gas here, continuing to pressure Protoss, forcing these probes to be pulled, losing a bunch of mining time for Protoss. Oh, and Dromar taps out, seeing that the bust won't work. I think they were probably okay in this game. Like, they forced a lot of cannons, but we are going to go to game 3 now. I don't remember what map this was on. Let's see. We're going to Ascension. Alright, 3-player Blue Storm. Here we come. Alright, if Gurthang can take this game, that will bring the Destructoads to the finals. Alright, here we go. In the 12 o'clock position of Ascension, it's the Purple Zerg Dromar. And in the bottom left, we have Gurthang. I just want to say, in the chat, we have Dromar saying that they GG'd, and I'm not sure why it didn't show up. Certain game modes, like if you host in top versus bottom in a team mode, your default chat will only go to people on your team, so your opponent won't see it. It's kind of a common pitfall. I didn't actually check Yes, so these games were hosted on Top vs. Bottom, so there we go. It's alright. We're all Manor here in the CPL. We don't have to worry about accidentally not GG. We all understand, right? Plus, you know, when people want to BM, they just BM out loud. So this map, I mention this every time. It is, it's a very new map. It's just a hard map to play on in general. Like I don't know what the balance numbers are, but like your expansions are pretty open. It's really easy to be contained at your natural. It's really critical to pay attention to your opponent's army movement on the map, because there's these, you know, there's so many like high ground ridges and stuff. Being ambushed can just destroy you. So we'll have to see if those kind of things play into the game here. Joromar sticking to the hatchery first, and honestly, why not? Like, you know, it's been completely fine each game. We have Gurthang going for the gateway first, once again. So this map, like, the walls are kind of weird. I'm pretty sure you don't want the pylon here. I think you want the pylon here, and then, like, a forge and a gateway. Because now Gurthang will have to destroy buildings if they want Dragoons to escape here. Although we haven't seen a single Dragoon built in this series. So maybe that's just not a thing that Gurthang wants to do at all. Again, both players getting a very early scout here. I mentioned this last game. You really don't want this forge, especially like the spawning pool isn't even done yet. Why would you need a forge, right? It's something that I had to learn when I was doing Gateway first. Like I said, like unless Zerg is going for 9 pool or 9 pool speed or something, just don't get that forge until your Nexus is started. And then like you don't need a cannon most of the time until like after your core is started. And it does really add up. You know, it would make your Nexus show up that much faster. Oh, and we have Dromar claiming the other main of the map. I mean, well, claiming the unnatural of that main. But this is something that comes up in 3-player maps. Like, there's no way to evenly split the map. So if you can claim like the third spawn, you get a huge advantage in the late game on your opponent. And of course, both of these are going to be equally far from the Protoss. Going to give Zerg a big defender's advantage if they can stay on top of the army movements of the Protoss. But it seems like since Gurthang has fished this out, oh my god, are we going to see a combined cannon and zealot rush on this third base? It should be pretty good here. I think this third base is going to go down just because it's going to take too long for Lings to get there. Although I don't think you'd have to be this conservative with your cannons. Like, you know that there's nothing here at the base. You might as well go in and start poking the hatchery. Get a cannon up somewhere where it can shoot the hatchery. Hangs, I see you in chat asking if I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good. I think it was just like some allergies or something that I had the other day. Because like I don't think I'm sick. I don't feel sick. I just had like a really runny nose, but I'm pretty much good now. Suck a Colony trying to come up here. Honestly, these cannons aren't even gonna help in the fight. I think. Super sad. All this money kind of being wasted here for Zerg. But the hatchery itself is gonna get poked. Although, I mean, if this sunken finishes, yeah, is Zerg actually going to save this base with all these links? Oh my god, the regret for Protoss. Alright, let's see. The Spire is coming up. I think this base is safe, honestly. Like, and now this is actually like 400 minerals thrown away for Protoss. So what is Protoss going to do to follow this up? We've seen different mid-game tech follow-ups here from Girthing. This time it's going straight into gateways here. I assume we can make a bunch of Zealots when we try to break down this third. Sunken trying to push here against the cannons. I know there's a trick somehow to like extend the range of your Sunk, like some kind of like sprite glitch. I don't know if this is Dromar doing this on purpose or just trying to ward away cannons. Although, you know, I was talking down on these cannons, but I just realized that they can't hit the hatchery, but they can absolutely hit the mineral line, which basically makes the base worthless. So, alright, you know, fair point to Girthing on that one. Dromar basically saying, okay, I don't need that base, I'll get a different one. Girthing getting that Citadel. Oh, but this time we do have mutas. And no Stargate in sight for Girthing. We have... Actually, in previous games, Girthing has blindly gotten, like, anti-muta cannons in their main and natural, but this game they have not, and of course, this is the game where we actually see mutas. So this could be really rough here. Like, there, you know, there's not even goons. There's no cannons. If Dromar is really effective with these mutas, like this could just be a game over here. Yeah, the main mineral line is shut down. Girthing reacts very quickly to pull these probes, but like, where can they really go? Because the natural mineral line is not safe either. Yeah, the mutas are able to hit this mineral line. It's 4 cannons at the front, not going to be enough. Actually, I completely lied. There is a Stargate here, but the first Corsair is just now in production. We're at 5 mutas. We're going to be up to 10 mutas here really quick. There is absolutely no mining going down, except for this one probe on the gas, 2 probes on the gas, that is, which are killed immediately. A really scary position for Girthing, trying to pressure with these Zealots to force the mutas to leave, but once again, we have really strong SimCity here for Dromar. It makes such a huge difference to Zerg. The mutas were pulled. It takes a long time for mutas to kill Zealots, but when you have 10 of them, you know, you can still power through all of that HP pretty quickly. And we're actually up to 12 mutas now. And I don't think Protoss is going to be able to survive. To be honest, we have 1 Corsair here. We have no cannons. Mining has been severely limited. We're down to 18 probes. I think these mutas are going to take it. I think Dromar is going to take this series. Oh, we have an Archon coming up for Girthing. A last-ditch move here. You know, it takes like 3 shots, like 3 or 4 shots for an Archon to kill every Mutalisk, but just doesn't have quite enough time to get it built here. It is going to get picked off right away. We have 2 Corsairs, but at this, you know, at these numbers, Mutas can just power through that. I don't see how Girthing can save their main. This third base is up for Dromar. They're up to 3 gases. They found 1 mineral patch here that the drone can mine safely, despite the presence of these 3 cannons. We do have 3 cannons, or I guess 2 cannons here in the natural, but even if 12 mutas couldn't break 2 cannons, the whole main is down. We're gonna have a 1 base Protoss against a 3 and a 1/8 base Zerg. I'd bet on the Zerg every time for that. And we have a Templar here. I don't think we had Storm Research in time. Here you go, the mutas are just powering through these cannons. The third one starts down here, but that'll go down really quickly. 2 more Zealots running across the map trying to buy some time, but it won't be enough. Girthing taps out, and Dromar takes the series 4 Attitude Plus. How do I update the scores? There we go. Okay. So it is 0-3 in favor of Attitude Plus here. That we're going to get into the fourth series here. Fortunately, it does involve another Protoss player, so I should at least, you know, I should be able to say something smart about this matchup. Oh, we have Gerthang in the chat, annoyed that they couldn't make the Corsair Reaver work. Like, I don't blame you. It's so hard to do that. Alright, here we go. In the top right of Eclipse, the Teal Terran fighting for Attitude Plus is Nagi Samba. And in the bottom left, the Magenta Protoss Zeph, or Von Zeph, fighting for the Destructodes. So on this map, I always talk about the third base. In this matchup, Terran is really, really unhappy with that third base because you have to cover this pretty big area like here with tanks. It makes it pretty easy to break for Protoss if they can find the right angle to attack at. But at least in my experience, like if the game goes on past the three base phase, I think it gets worse for Protoss. Like it's hard to maneuver big armies around for Protoss, and there just aren't that many bases for you to take, and like you don't have a second main to build more gateways, which is really important for Protoss in the late game. So I think the longer this game goes on, the better it gets for Terran. Now we do have a forward gateway here from Zeph, actually on 9. This is one of the things that a two-player map enables here. Oh, and we are going to see a gas steal. Oh, and we kind of have a greedy build here from Nagi. Maybe trying to get the command center on 15 after the barracks. This is pretty much what Zeph wants to see when you go for a gateway first, or when you go for a forward gateway here. This probe, trying to be annoying, does force the second SCV to be pulled to the natural, but not going to be able to stop this barracks. I'm actually not sure. I'm pretty sure you need 2 more depots to wall this off. You know, I'm not sure if it's completely tight, especially not if you go back like this. But this does seem like pretty good SimCity if Nagi can get like a marine up here and walk with some SCVs. Now, the thing about this, a gas steal, is you really like delay the Terran factory, which is really good if you're hitting with Zealots. But the thing is, like, it's completely legit for Terran to play without gas. Like, it's completely fine to go for this gasless expand. So it's more like you're forcing Terran into a certain play style rather than like just gimping them. But, you know, in the CPL, when players might have, like, 2 or maybe 3 builds that they do on a regular basis, like, limiting their builds can still be pretty good. Oh, okay, so the Zealot can totally get over there. This Marine just takes the hits like a champ. There you go. Gets slapped before he can walk through the little micro hole here. And oh, this SCV does not block the ramp. Zealot's a little bit confused here. So the thing is, like, I think Nagi will clean this up. It's just a question of how much damage they take in the meantime. And I think the real damage here is that there's no second command center coming and there's no tech started. So it's really about just the mental confusion caused by this build rather than the straight up damage. I mean, you know, there's 1 Marine and 1 SCV being killed here, but just the game plan being set back so far. And we even have a relatively quick Nexus here for the Protoss. We do want to see that gas, though, so we can pay for these goons with the Cybercore. Zeph doing a great job keeping the Zealot alive in the main. This is one of these things that's really hard for me to do when I go for this, like, the Zealot poke, is you know, if you can keep your Zealot alive, that just really compounds the pressure that you put on. Like being able to run in, come back, and then come back with 2 zealots is way more powerful than like suiciding 1 zealot to get some damage and then coming in with more later. While I'm giving that speech, Nagi does clean up that zealot, but overall, I think this opening was better for Protoss. Oh wow, look at how distributed the damage is on these Marines. If there is, like, you know, there's no way that Terran can push now with these bruised up Marines. If there's some kind of goon bust later, that could actually matter. This Marine doing a good job making sure that there's no cheesy proxies here at the third. Looks like he's going to scout around, look for potential third base locations. We are finally having some goons pop out. But it's nice that Protoss doesn't really have to worry about any vultures or anything. And we finally have the first factory started at 5 minutes and 20 seconds into the game here. Basically no chance of Terran aggression for a long time in this game. I like this Marine being here. Might even kill a probe trying to build the third base if it comes here unescorted. There, here we go. I think, ooh, Zeph spends some money so they can't build the Nexus right away. Seems like they catch the Marine. Pull the probe away here. Gonna send these goons. So it doesn't kill the probe or anything, but it does delay the expansion by like 20 seconds. Which, you know, which is pretty good value if we were 1 Marine. What is going on here? There we go. Okay. Oh, those ones were just hanging out. Nagi really invested in getting this scouting on the map. Checking for proxies, checking for hidden bases. This is somebody who has lost a game to Proxy Robo or to a hidden Protoss base one too many times. We're getting that third base. Actually, the third base before the Robo is like incredibly ballsy. But when you know that the Terran tech has been set back so far, you know, maybe that's just a choice that you can get away with. The goon poking in. You're trying to get a good idea of what's going on, but at this point, you can be pretty sure that there is an expansion here. We have T. Beckman in the chat saying that DT would be nice. Yeah. DTs are always nice, but you know, Nagi was aware of the potential for that kind of thing. Does have a bunch of turrets and scanners. Looks like that third base for Protoss is going to get up here at a pretty decent time. Although, actually, now that I look at the top right here, Terran actually has more workers, despite getting this later expand. So Nagi just being a little bit more solid in the macro department. Hopefully with that third Nexus, Zeph can't catch up here. Oh, well, hold on. It's probably for Arbiters, right? Not for DTs, but that'd be pretty sick. We go to like 10-minute a DT drop. Probe transfer makes it to the third, along with a few cannons. I have heard so many different things about when Protoss should start getting cannons. I'm pretty sure the consensus, I guess, is like get them after your fourth base, or get them when you see that Terran is going for drops. So this is probably a bit early to get cannons, but drops would be one of the ways for Terran to get back, so I can't really blame Zeph for being worried about them. Seems like it is going to be Arbiter Tech here with the Templar Archives and the Stargate. Sometimes you see carriers on this map because of like all the cliffs, but Arbiters are still completely fine here. And Nagi actually getting up to a decent tank count. Smackering up with these 3 factories, heading into their third base of their own. So I think we are going to see a longer game here, given the tech choices from both players. These goons are grouping up outside the Terran base, but this many tanks will definitely win the fight. Start getting some science vessels to counteract the arbiters that are on the way here. I'm not sure how much Zeph has been able to see of the Terran main now, but as soon as you see this 3rd command center at this time, like, you should know that as Protoss you can grab your 4th and maybe even your 5th. I was saying earlier, like, Terran does not like this 3rd base, and just look at how much space that they have to cover here between the 2 bases. We have a Zealot bomb shuttle set up here, and there's only 3 tanks on this side of the map. Oh, but the goons stray just a little bit too close. If they just, you know, walk around like this way, they can get to that 3rd unmolested here. In the meantime, we do have those Zealots cleaning up all 3 of those tanks all by themselves, and now you're going to see why Terran doesn't like this map. 3rd base is going to be denied here for a while. Command Center cannot land. We have a handful of tanks here. It's enough to defend the natural, but they can't on siege and fight this, especially with this really smart observer placement from Zeph. A nice little victory here for Zeph, and the 4th base is on the way, about to be double the mining bases of Terran. The Arbiter tech is finally coming. We had that stasis research almost done. The first Arbiter is on the way. Things are shaping up very nicely for the Protoss. I mean, what is it going to take for Terran to get this 3rd base online? It's just going to have to very carefully leapfrog tanks over. Actually, right as I say that, it seems like Zeph is going to back off. Doesn't want to risk losing all of these goons. And even if Nagi does land this 3rd base now, like, it's basically the Artosis timing for the 3rd, you know, the 12.5-minute 3rd. Not really ideal for Terran. Oh, we have Storm coming too. Storm has become more popular in this matchup as of late. This isn't going to be the, like, speed shuttle mass Storm strategy, but, you know, if you can get 1 or 2 Storms off in a fight, they can really melt a bunch of Terran units. Oh, the Observer does get caught. I think it has Observer speed by the look of it. We have some goons poking in here, trying to threaten the 3rd again. Lay down. There's 5 tanks up on this ramp. I would not try to take this fight without that shuttle and some Zealots. There we go, and Zeph wisely backs up. That Arbiter is finally out 3 years later. Oh, we do have the shuttle filled up again, so Zeph might be thinking about trying to bust this 3rd base one more time. The defense is pretty strong now, especially if we see some turrets here built up. But honestly, like, Zeph doesn't need to break that base. Like, just get a 5th base, honestly. It's gonna be a long time before Terran can actually push across the map. This Observer is keeping a good eye on the Terran army. It'll alert Zeph to any Terran move-outs. Ultra's mining up here, trying to get some presence on the map to look for any Protoss flanks. Factory count is growing. Both players are nearing maxing out. Protoss more so than Terran. some point we are going to see a big confrontation in the middle of the map. We have recall done. We're about 35 seconds away from having the mana for that, so we could see a recall in the third of Terran, or maybe even the main. There's some turrets on the outside, but not enough to stop an Arbiter. Right as I start talking about that, we have mines in the main, but if the Arbiter flies over here towards the mineral line, there's unlikely to be any mines at that point. Alright, Zeph is gathering outside the third of Terran. Oh my god, this tank's on siege at the worst possible time. They scoot down into a mine drag. Two of them go down immediately. The stasis actually maybe kind of saving the third base by blocking it off. But Zeph is not about the third base. Zeph is going to bust the front here. These tanks are far forward. There's no zealots, or there's no vultures to block for them. Not that many mines here. Arbiter does get taken down, but it seems like the last of the tanks for Terran are in danger here. So the third base might survive, but the natural and main are in danger here. Seems like we do have two more tanks here, including one up on the cliff, and the goons are pretty bruised up, so I don't think the main is going to fall for Terran. But still, losing all of that supply, losing all those tanks is going to reset Terran back pretty far. We just I just want to see Protoss get like a fifth base at the same time. It would be great. This is a thing that will happen to me all the time. Is like my reinforcement wave is like D6 by 1, so like all those goons died, and then now we have just zealots, which are not going to trade nearly as effectively without support. We're getting a second science facility? Didn't we already see? We already had one. I guess it must have been like floating around and being killed. Dang. Oh, here we go. The zealot swarm does make it to the third base where there's only these tanks. Really focused on taking out those turrets. We're going to let in some recalls later. And we could have storms here on these vultures. There we go. Very nice. With that one, but that's fine. The mineral line is in danger here. Terran scrambling to get some defense out here. Third base itself will be saved, but not before a bunch of zealots go down. Or a bunch of SCVs go down to these zealots, I should say. Zeph is thinking about taking this top left double gas base, and like Nagi has not crossed the halfway point of the map in a long time. The second Arbiter is out. A second Stargate too, just to make up for any lapse in production here. Another scary force is out here. This time the supply lead is even more in the favor of Protoss. These turrets are in the back, so we could have an Arbiter like recall, just come straight to the mineral line maybe. Or even catch all of these units out here in the middle of the map. So Nagi scanned somewhere. Looks like Nagi scanned down here. Is thinking about pressuring the top left region of the map, or maybe getting their own fourth base. But I don't think the Nagi can fight Protoss in the open for a long time here. It seems like they've caught the Protoss headed for the natural, but there's still just these two tanks there, and this time it's an almost maxed out Protoss army. Time to see just how good siege tanks on a cliff are. We have some storms doing good damage on the flank of the Terran units here, but they have speed zealots running up the ramp. Everybody knows that if you camp these factories for Terran, they can't build more units, and if Terran units come out one at a time, they just get slapped, honestly. Seems like Zeph doesn't know what to focus on here. Could go up the ramp, could fight the army, could kill the SCVs, but it's just a little bit scattered here. Actually, these unsieged tanks are being let free to do lots of damage here. So once again, Nagi might barely survive. I'm not sure who's going to win this fight, honestly. There you go, Nagi does tap out. That's going to be game one for the Protoss on Destructoads, and I am going to take a quick break before the next game. I will be back. I just need to get some water and hit the bathroom, so it'll be like 2 minutes. BRB. Alright, I'm back. I think you probably heard me knock over my speakers. Thanks for sticking out with me, guys. I appreciate when everyone doesn't leave as soon as I walk away. Let's get back into the series. Going to game 2 here. NCX says I sound not sick today, which is good. Alright, here in the top left, the Yellow Terran Nagi-sama. And in the bottom left of Fighting Spirit, it's the Red Protoss Von Seth. I think this is the same spawn we saw in the last game on Fighting Spirit. Illuminati confirmed, maybe. So I talked about this map and how it affects the PvZ matchup. Against Terran, like, the thirds can be pretty funny. Like, if you get your own third, it's very defensible. But, like, if Protoss gets goons up on the high ground of the Terran third before Terran can take it, it can be a real pain in the ass to take. Because you have to go up a narrow ramp to your own third base. That can definitely be a major headache for Terran. No forward gate this time, which I like. Like, I don't understand how people can, you know, like, go for forward gate and stuff and other zealot pressure on a 4-player map, because you have a decent chance of not scattering them first, and then your zealot just does nothing. It's not a gamble I'd ever feel comfortable making. I think we might have Anagi-sama build their barracks in the natural again. Kind of curious what this is about. Maybe planning to go for that gasless expand again. No? Alright, getting this guy, I don't know, it seems unnecessarily risky to build down here. You know, like, if Protoss goes for Zealot first again, you're gonna be in danger. If Protoss goes for, like, 2-gate, you're gonna have stuff out here. I'm just not really sure what the benefit of that is, unless, like, the map allows for you to build, like, a tight wall. Looks like a very standard opening from Zeph this time around. The patented no guys and gas. I'm used to either saying 3 or 1, but 0 is very interesting. Where's this factory being built? Oh, here it is. Okay. So maybe just plan to get vultures for a while, not even the machine shop or the tank. Kind of interesting. We're really trying to clean up this scouting probe. What is this one SCV here doing in the back? I catch this all the time. Somehow I have workers behind the minerals not doing anything. I just don't understand how they get there or why they aren't mining. Still kind of confused about this SimCity 4 Terran. Like, if you're already getting your barracks and bunker down here, just go gas expand. I don't know. There's probably something that I'm missing. Anyway, we have Zeph going for the 23 Nexus. Build is very popular lately. You know, there's a lot of very subtle differences in, like, I'm going to get my Nexus on 21 or 23 or 28 or 17 and all these other things. 23 seems to be the most popular, like, middle of the road choice right now. Basically, start your second goon and then get the Nexus. Range is not done yet, so the goon cannot put pressure on the bunker, but it will be done very shortly. We do have 2 goons here. The first tank is not that far away, and the tank does tend to signal the end of the bunker pressure. Unless we have, like, very quick 4 goons that can dive on the tank. Bring down an SCV so we can repair. Actually really well timed with the range. Nice little touch here from Nagi-sama. Oh, the tank is confused by pathing. There's no repair going down on the bunker. Oh, here we go. No tank trying to shoot from the high ground, but without siege mode, can't reach from there. Actually has to pause the command center to pull the second SCV here. Really did not pull back. There we go. Pull back before losing any hull. A little micro battle here, but overall, I think it's completely fine for Terran. Zeph doing a good job getting this robo and the observatory somewhere. Must be like, there we go, down here in the corner of the map under my mini-map. It's really crucial as Protoss to get this observer as fast as possible. You want it to be in the Terran main, like between 7 minutes and 7:30, because there's so many Terran builds that diverge at around that time. So you get to see, okay, is Terran going to take a 3rd base? Is Terran going for a drop? Is Terran going to do some kind of 2-base push? And all of those require very different responses as the Protoss. So it's really critical to get this observer out. So Zeph choosing to get the third at this position, I don't know if I like this or not. Just because it is very close to the Terran ramp here. And we actually do have Anagi coming out with a 3-tank push. I'm kind of surprised because you normally see this off of 2 factories. It seems like we had those tanks come out really quickly. Zeph has to run here, but once we get up to 7 goons in one position, this push should get cleaned up very easily. So Nagi might want to back up now. It seems like Nagi might be thinking about going to the potential third base location of Zeph. Not sure here, but anyway, like this third base is so close to the natural choke of Nagi. It'd be hard for Protoss to stop and push in time. But then if you take this third base, you have to deal with 2 ramps, and it's a bit harder to keep ultras out. So we have this observer. It seems like the first one was stuck at home to deal with any mines, but this one should get in the Terran base just about that critical time juncture. There we go. Nagi wisely pulls back before any major confrontation comes up. Again, with the early cannons here for Zeph, they're just like a bit too early. I don't think it's like breaking the bank or anything. We have the Arbiter Tech coming online just a bit faster too. A nice improvement over last game. Let's see. There we go. We do have a third command center coming up after going up to 3 factories. Where's that observer? Actually, the observer does not go into the main. Just checks out the front here. Can maybe get an idea of what Terran is doing just from the tank count. But here we go. Finally heading in to the main. Gonna see this third command center. See the armory. Should let Zeph know we are headed for another long-ish game here. Nagi once again sending out Marines just to check expansion spots. Does not want to be caught unaware by any hidden base here. Our Tribunal on the way, along with more gateways. Oh, did that observer die to a turret? It must have. Major feels bad moment for Protoss. We have a move out here. Seems like we might be running into that situation that I discussed earlier in the game, where if the goons cover the high ground third here, it can be very hard for Terran to bust up, especially if we have a shuttle and 4 zealots, which is exactly what we see in production here. It's just really hard for tanks to push up this ramp. And we saw this last game too, so it seems to be a focus of Zeph's strategy, just delay the Terran third. Well, with these goons out of position, we have a fleet of vultures headed out here. Might be able to wreak some havoc. There's no goons at home. A bunch of pylons are going up. Nagi scans somewhere. All these zealots trying to block the choke here, but they won't last long against all of these vultures. This is going to be really annoying. All these probes are in danger now. We have a single goon popping from these gateways, some more scrambling to get out. Mines take out the goon, and these probes are going to have to run. But I'm not sure that any of them are going to make it to this third base, and even then, like the main... Okay, scrambling to take out some cannons. This is a really big play here for Nagi. Down to 35 probes for Protoss. Getting up this 4th base behind a wall of pylons, but so many probes are going to die. I'm not sure if it's worth it or not. But at the same time, the 3rd Command Center isn't even trying to expand yet. These goons are just waiting here. There we go, the vulture run by. It does get cleaned up. And immediately Nagi's attention returns to the 3rd base command center. There's a decent arc of goons here. There's more tanks than there are goons, but high ground advantage is a real thing. Like, actually misclick a little bit. There you go. Does actually, as soon as they see like 2 goons at the very edge of vision, the command center turns around. I think a bunch of mines here thinks that they're going to get flanked, but honestly, these goons are happy to sit up here and deny the third as long as possible. One Arbiter is ready, a second one is coming. But not that many gateway units on the ground right now for Protoss. It feels like. I guess given that all these are up here, basically sacrifice keeping this third base away. Oh, and look, this is what I was talking about. I didn't even notice Nagi go to push this base. It's going to force some kind of reaction. The goons are split in which way they want to go. It's like they're going to give up denying Terran's third to try and save the Protoss third, but it's going to be really strong. Goons are going to have to walk through a minefield here and some more siege tanks. Like, this is why you don't take this third as Protoss. Oh man, we need a big stasis. There we go. 2 tanks in the back. It's pretty good, but I don't think it's going to be enough, especially with the Protoss army kind of split up like this. I think these tanks are going to make quick work of these goons. And the third base of Protoss is going to be in danger. And manages to save the Arbiter for now. Where did that third command center go? There it is. Okay. So it still hasn't gone down, but if Terran takes this base out, they're going to feel great about their state in this game. More scans going for Nagi. The Protoss going up to a bunch of gateways on free base here, but like, unless you can bust Terran right away, these gateways are just going to slow down your expansion and basically make Terran stronger to you, stronger relative to you as the game goes on. Like, there you go. The third command center is actually going to go down to the third base of Protoss because at this position, it's going to be really hard for Protoss to break without like a recall maybe. This is how you assert dominance, kill your opponent's expansion, and then take it. Seth trying to move out on the map here with this little group of units, but it's not enough to contest the Terran army. Terran is ahead on supply right now, and this never a position that Protoss wants to be in. The Nagi is not stopping, not just going to sit back and wait for Protoss to move out. Nagi knows that they've killed a lot of Protoss units. Doesn't want to give Protoss time to recover here. And this is a lot of tanks. They're supported by Vultures this time. Scanners, revealing units that are cloaked under the Arbiters, and just bullying the small Protoss army further back. Can't believe this third command center still hasn't landed though. Zeph is going to be really confused. He's going to have this observer up there see that there's still not a base there, but oh, never mind. Not confused. We'll see exactly what's going on with this observer. Alright, so we do have a lot of energy on these 2 Arbiters. Could see, like, 3 Arbiters. Could see, like, 2 or 3 strong Stacies here, but oh, there we go. A pretty good one there. This is Zeph's attempt to save their natural. Doing pretty good with this big arc of units, but oh, here we go, and a drop. Zealot bombs taking out one more tank. It's pretty much just goons versus vultures. Is there enough for Protoss to bust out here? Some tanks reinforce at the last second. The goons have to back up. A bunch of damage from these siege tanks. These units, if they pop out like now, they should get cleaned up really quickly. The fact that they aren't sieged is actually pretty good for Protoss, because otherwise they do a bunch of burst damage as soon as they pop. But Nagi is positioning pretty well here. Actually manages to save one of these tanks. Supplies are closer, but still a little bit ahead for Terran. Zeph finally getting a 4th base to replace the 3rd that they lost earlier. But still, like, this army for Protoss is just not that big. We have 3 Arbiters. Zeph has done a good job of keeping the Arbiters alive after each fight, which lets them build that mana back up, but the actual gateway unit count has been reset several times now. Oh, trying to bust up this ramp, and actually, with the Speed Zealots in the front, might be a chance for Protoss to do it. I think we just lost 2 Arbiters, though, which is really bad. But the 3rd base goes down for Terran. I mean, that's going to set back the economy pretty far here. Tanks stuck outside, goons stuck outside. Isn't pathing great? Isn't Brood War pathing just amazing? Tanks are sieging all the way down here. They actually can hit a few of these goons, but not enough to completely wipe them out, I think. Zeph doing a good job microwaving from this mine, but it takes out 2 goons, and now there's a few Terran units up on this ramp. I think the base might be saved here. We have some more goons here. These 8 goons are not going to be enough to defend Protoss if Terran to go for it. Look at that huge mine / tank hit there. Oh, and some vultures are very close to discovering the space in the bottom right. There's 1 cannon here, but it's not going to save the actual mineral line. Of course, there's only 2 probes there for now, but... Oh no, they're going to intercept this probe transfer. There we go. Nagi barely catches it in time before the vultures leave. I hate when that happens. It's so miserable. You lose so much in like just a few seconds. Zeph trying to make a bust here. Actually, Terran is pretty spread out over a decent amount of area. Let's see what Zeph can manage to do here. Well, he finds these 3 tanks from earlier, but they're pretty much undefended. I don't know why these Zealots are all over this turret. The tanks eventually do go down. Now it's just vultures and a few more tanks. Actually, way more tanks. Alright. Zeph taking lots of damage. Maybe just burn up the ramp to the 3rd, but decides to fight these tanks. Scanner just keeping the Arbiter from completely tipping the fight in Protoss' favor. Now Protoss trying to back up here with 5 goons. Seems like 1 or 2 units trying to run up this ramp. Did get cleaned up. I feel like if Protoss either tried to dive on all these tanks or tried to go up the 3rd really quickly, they could have done that, but they kind of stood in the middle, took a bunch of free shots. Oh, so we did have the vultures come over here, hide by the mineral line. The DT killed 2 of them like a boss. Fourth base is coming up for Terran, right under the watchful eye of the observer. So Zeph will know. Zeph knows pretty much what the state of this game is. It's really on them to do something about it. You do not want to be on even bases with the Terran. Just sending a squad of Speed Zealots over here. And just to take out the single tank defending the space. It takes a little bit of time for Nagi to send these vultures, but they are going to hit these Zealots pretty quickly, I would think. A few SCVs do go down. And actually, despite losing a lot of probes in this game, Zeph is still ahead. Which is pretty important. I mean, Terran wants like 60 workers at this point in the game. Lets you pump out a ton of vultures. And then maybe even 3 machine shops of tanks. More probes very bravely making the migration to this bottom right base. We have a Dark Templar blocking the ramp so vultures can't get by, and a High Templar here ready to storm vultures as they clump up. Pretty nice. I'll have to watch if that ever actually comes in handy. Zeph is moving out. Maybe trying to take a flank to go all the way around the map to get this fourth base, because it is, of course, not defended, but that would leave the natural completely exposed here. I think that's a trade that Nagi would choose to make. Yeah, we do have Nagi driving down to the Protoss natural. This army is going to go back. I think a High Templar died to mines here. This army is very zealot heavy. It's going to run right into a squad of vultures. Big Mind Drake, so take out like 6 vultures. Oh, a nice stasis. Is there enough Protoss to follow it up, though? I'm not sure. There's just not enough meat in the Protoss army here to deal with this. Another really nice stasis. Actually, like, yeah, we have 3 big stasis here. So this Terran army is not going to be able to attack anytime soon, but Protoss just doesn't have very much to capitalize on it. Like, Nagi is up 40 supply, and actually Zeph taps out. So again, we're going to go to game number 3. I think so far we've seen like every series go to game 3. No, I think Packrat won 2-0, and then everything else has been going to game 3. Oh, let me not show that. Oh, what? I'm good at this. Okay, there we go. There we go. I totally remember how to use Streamlabs. Don't worry about it. All right. In the 12 o'clock position is the grayish-green Terran Nagi-sama. And in the bottom left, the banana Protoss Von Zeph. I think this is the banana. Maybe this is lime. Or lemon. I don't know. Whatever. This is also the same spawns that we saw earlier today on this map. It's definitely a conspiracy. So I talked about earlier how on this map it's really critical to keep track of where your opponent's army is, and this can be really important for both sides in this matchup, because, like, you know, if you're Protoss and you walk into a bunch of tanks that are sieged on the high ground, you're going to lose your whole army. And if you're Terran and you unsiege your tanks and you go up a ramp to where there's a big Protoss army, you're going to lose your whole army. And another way that's like, so the third bases, like I've been saying, are pretty open here. And Zeph has done a good job of delaying Terran taking their third base. And at the very least has made an effort of focusing on that. Of course, in the last game, Nagi was completely happy to make that trade and just go kill the Protoss third. So Nagi, once again, putting this barracks out here at the natural, so just determined to make this choice. Oh, and Zeph is going for a Nexus first? Not even 12 Nexus, like 13 Nexus. I mean, it's just one probe difference, but just a little bit greedier than normal. Alright, this is definitely something Terran does not want to see. I've been told that, like, it's like if you're going for a factory build anyway, you want to pull SCVs and try to bunker rush and, like, hope that you're, I guess, like, time it so that your first vulture shows up pretty soon after you get there. Oh my god, it's not even a gateway, it's a cannon. Zeph forgot their opponent wasn't Zerg. No, this actually is a thing you see sometimes, but I don't know. I mean, it can't be like the optimal way to do it, or you see it more often. But I mean, there's no way that like a vulture rush with a bunker rush is going to kill this, right? If you build like 2 cannons, you'll kill Infinity Marines. But at the same time, like, Terran should know that Protoss won't be able to pressure them for a long time. So Terran could take their own natural and then probably take their own third pretty quickly here. Let's see what Nagi opts for. I know either way, it's going to be really stressful to see, oh my god, Protoss, it did Nexus first. They have to do something about it. But I really don't think that you want to pull the boys here. And if you do pull the boys, I'm pretty sure you want like 6 to 8, not 5. I don't know, I'm basically just regurgitating the things that I hear Tastos is talking about on a cast now. But just, cannons are just really good against Marines. Like, Marines are not good against cannons at all. But Zeph is actually being pretty greedy here after getting the cannon, like not even a Zealot and just one cannon. Not scouting with a probe to see this coming, so maybe Nagi can pull something off here. Honestly, I've never seen this happen in the game, so I don't know what the actual math, what the math actually is here. So can we get this one cannon down? Like, if this cannon dies, it'll be game over for Protoss, but seems like Nagi does not feel confident enough to try to break it. Just turns around as soon as that cannon shoots. Vulture trying to poke in here, but that gets shoot away by the cannon too. So Zeph goes on with this build. I'm pretty sure you don't want the second gas yet. Like, you have 2 gateways and that's it. You don't need the second gas. There you go. Nagi does take their own natural here. Just a bit later than they would like. I feel like I said, like, Nagi should know that Protoss basically has no units. You can get your own third. That has to be like the correct response to seeing Forge expand. That or like rush to siege tank or something, but that has its own risks. So, but now like pulling those SCVs and getting no damage done, like Nagi's actually pretty far behind from that, I think. SC, like, workers mine slightly less than 1 mineral a second, so whenever I see workers pull it for a long time, like, I kind of imagine like a little like red -1 pop up over workers as they get pulled, and like that probably amounted to like 200 or 300 minerals over the time of those 5. The workers were pulled there. And Zeph is even getting their own third base at a really fast. Just the absolute greed here on display. Terran gets their own third finally, so both players just content to macro up here. Terran, I think, just a bit more justified in being that greedy. Like we're seeing the start of the Arbiter tech again. Zeph has consistently relied on that in this series. Goon wanders into a mine here, but does get to the SCV building, the 3rd command center. Might be able to kill it. Actually does kill it. Buying a few more seconds for Protoss before that command center will be finished. There we go, the SCV is being sent out there. So the 3rd Nexus does finish. First, getting more cannons here, just to avoid dying to Vulture harass. We have to settle them. There we go. There's the Stargate, and there is the archives. A cute little trick that I've learned when I'm actually on top of my tech timing is like, you can start the Stargate just a little bit before the Citadel finishes, and then start the Templar archives next, like when you get that 200 gas, and then that's pretty much like the best timing to get your Arbiter tech out as soon as possible. It just buys you like a few seconds, which can be really huge. That means that you have the mana for a stasis when the fight happens. Observer finally gets in the main. Actually, not that late. Like, it feels like it's much later in the game because both players have their third base, but we are only 8 minutes in here. Alright, we have these goons poking across the map, trying to clear out any minefields Terran might be building. With 3 tanks here and a nice arc, I don't think there's a chance that Zeph breaks the third base here, but it's good to try to keep Terran in their own base here. And actually, we have a 4th base coming up for Protoss, so just absolute greed. Like, Zeph is just not scared whatsoever. I think this reference is actually pretty dated now, but at the end of Interstellar, when he like reprograms TARS, he lowers his humor setting. I feel like somebody reprogrammed Zeph and just raised his greed to 100. Like, it's just not stopping. Like, you know, before we saw Zeph get a lot of gateways and like try to deny the Terran third. In this game, they're just like, nah, more Nexuses, please. They have goons here going out on the map trying to prevent Vulture run-bys, I would imagine. But there are a lot of paths on this map, so like, you know, there's the very obvious path here, right over the top where the Vultures can go through. Like, they can't go through this side path. They can't go through this side path, but they can totally just scoot right through and actually do a bunch of damage like we saw in Game 2. That's something I'd be worried about. Oh no, a tank. Dude. Like, that doesn't even look like the tank is stuck. Like, it should totally be able to just drive out this way, but that's Brood War padding for you. Both players building up here. Up to about 60 workers for each side. We might see both players max out before any kind of confrontation here. Nobody really wants to cross the map. It is Game 3. Don't want to lose the map in a, you know, bad move command or something like that. Alright, here we go. Zeph actually gathering up a decent army here. I think we have one Arbiter done somewhere on the map. There it is. Is it going to be enough to break this base? I'm not sure. I think there's too many tanks down here. Like, you don't need that much to cover this choke, right? It's so small. Like, 2 tanks and some mines. But, like, this is a huge area to cover. And there's really only, like, 3 tanks that can hit it. And we have a bunch of Protoss here. And even an Arbiter, which will have a stasis in a few seconds. Like, this is actually pretty scary suddenly for Nagi. I kept talking about how long it was going to be before we saw a fight in this game, but suddenly Zeph is macroing really well. Is up 50 supply. Okay, there we go. Nagi does, just in time, move some more tanks up here. With those Vultures, does scout the army. Really smart move, killing the mine, preventing any kind of Zealot bombs here. Nice touch. And now Nagi has kind of like depth here with the siege tank line. Makes it much harder to break. Not impossible though. I mean, the supply can't lead is getting higher. Like, it's a very spread out arc for Protoss. Here we go. Zeph has made the call here. Zealots get chewed up by mines almost right away. Oh, 3 tanks here in the back. Do get covered by stasis. There was one under the barracks I didn't even see. Now it's just this handful of tanks in the back. Speed Zealots get right on top of them. If Zeph can take out this third base, it's going to be huge. Oh my god, another Arbiter dies to a turret. I think the Protoss army is just getting a bit funneled into this choke. Not picking the right targets to fight here. Camping these tanks, but getting peppered from out here. Marines leave the bunker trying to be heroes. In the meantime, there is a 5th base here for Protoss, so even if this push doesn't kill the base, Protoss is still going to be ahead. Economically, actually, I look at it, both players have the same worker count, which is kind of funny. But Nagi does manage to hold on to this base, which is really critical. Like, a 2-base Terran against a 5-base Protoss would be just game over. But it still looks pretty good for Protoss with this big supply lead. That first Arbiter did go down, but the second one is here. Actually, we have a second Stargate again, just to replenish those numbers as quick as possible. A bunch of gateways are coming online. Second main will allow for the second gateway farm to come up. I didn't realize you could wall like this. Pretty nice touch here. So Zeph is looking overall pretty good in this game. This is what happens when you get away with a Nexus first, isn't it? Protoss back on the map. Maybe try to set up to like ambush a Terran push with this kind of positioning. So we have the EMP ability being researched, but no vessels just yet, which is pretty important to shutting down all of the Arbiter shenanigans. Oh, might be heading for a recall here, and there's basically nothing in the Terran base. There's 3 turrets here in this corner, but nothing to stop this Arbiter going straight for the mineral line. Huge recall, a bunch of units. Nagi's going to scramble to get back in here, but it's going to take a long time for units to walk around. So many SCVs are going to go down. Both armories are right here. Like, if Zeph just right-click on both of them, that would set Terran back to the Stone Age in terms of upgrades. And it's going down. It seems like I'm just going to kill some factories, kill command center, kill a bunch of vultures. Still just really nice touch for Zeph. The Zeph is, basically going to remax and replace these losses right away, whereas Nagi is down to 46 workers. Only about 120 supply here. Every Terran unit just hurts way more than losing, a few Zealots and goons. So, nice recall here for Zeph. And now, if Zeph wanted, they could come just clear out this whole minefield and make the last 3 minutes of work by Nagi completely wasted. This one Arbiter is going to poke these tanks to death because there's no Goliaths left. Going up to 6 bases for Protoss. Starting to get a second set of gateways. This is looking pretty solid for Protoss in this game. Zeph is doing a good job in this late game PvT. We do have this one vessel ready to go. EMP is 100, right? I always forget if it's 75 or 100. We have at least one EMP ready on that vessel. Oh, we know we have a second recall set up, and there's still nothing here to defend it. Terran armies is at the map, though, so there's a fight going on when something might get recalled here. Seems like Zeph's attention is on this fight. There's a decent stasis here, but all these goons are struggling to get up on the ramp, and tanks are taking great trades here. I don't know if it's enough. No, Nagi taps out. And that is going to be the series for Zeph, and that actually is the win that Destructoads needed. So with that, Destructoads gets 10 wins that they needed to head to the finals. Which is big hype. But we still have one series to cast for you tonight. It's going to be Nice Pants versus Naka. Oh, it's going to be a ZVZ too, so it's going to be extra sick. I'm going to have so many intelligent things to say about this matchup as a Protoss player. We have Lightswarm in the chat saying no Hydras will be harmed in the CBZ. God, I hope so. Here in the top right of Eclipse, the purple Zerg, it's Nam Naka, and in the bottom left, it's the yellow Zerg. I guess it's more the banana color Zerg. Nice Pants fighting for Destructoads. Now, actually, in the first day of this cast, we did see 2 other players from Nam, but they were on Destructoads, whereas Naka is on Attitude Plus. Let's see what builds each player is going to go for. Look at that APM from Naka up the 400 plus. Selecting very hard right now. So I always talk about the map at this point in the game, but the map doesn't really matter that much for ZVZ. Like, the fact that it's a 2-player map means that there won't be any miss scouting. Like, both players will get the first scout off. I guess like the rush distance might affect the relative strength of builds, but like, you know, we're not going to see like 5 bases versus 5 bases or anything. Like, we're pretty much going to see fighting inside the naturals or the mains of each player. Anyway, it seems like Naka went for a 9-pull gas, whereas Nice Pants went for a 12-pull here. Usually I see a 12-pull followed up by a hatchery. So there's going to be a window of time where Naka is going to have speedlings, and Nice Pants will not. So Nice Pants will have just slowlings. But if Nice Pants can survive that period of the game, they will have more larvae. And that should eventually let them overpower the 1 base of Naka. Let's see how the Ling micro stacks up here. The first 6 Lings are already headed out on the map. They're going to run right underneath the Scouting Overlord of Nice Pants. And Nice Pants should know that they're in danger here, but they're making 6 Lings of their own. Actually, we're up to 8 Lings here with this larva spawning just in time. So now Naka knows there's a hatchery on the way. Nice Pants taking a decent defensive position here with the ramp. And actually Naka taking the fight just before speed finishes, actually a pretty big mistake here. You want that speed when you fight. I think it's worth it to just dance around a while and wait for that speed to finish. The more Lings are on the way. It's not over yet. The lair is like 2/3 done for Naka, whereas it's basically just started for Nice Pants. And actually the Lings win another fight here. Oh, so Nice Pants got lair before speed. That's going to extend the reign of terror of the speed Lings that much longer. And despite losing that first fight here, Naka has, I think, like, secured the natural here. Like, just with this constant train of Lings. Actually deciding not to stay and kill the hatchery, heading up to the main. Nice Pants is trying to get this Sunken online, but for now, the drones are completely undefended. 3 of them go down. This is absolutely brutal damage. 4 drones go down. 2 Lings spot, but it's not going to be enough. It's looking very good for Naka right now. The Sunken does get up enough to drive away those Lings, but now the natural hatchery is in danger, and any kind of advantage that Nice Pants had here is going to be gone. Spire is on the way for Naka. Meanwhile, it's not started yet for Nice Pants in all of the chaos. And like NCX says in chat, it's more like Dead Pants. The larva getting tickled to death here. Alright, never mind. Naka runs back up into the main. 8 Ling should be able to take the sunken, or just dive on the drones, because who cares? Yeah, I think Hangs is right. I think getting the lair before the speed definitely did not help Nice Pants. I think maybe Nice Pants didn't identify what the situation in the game was. Maybe you got too confident after they killed the first wave of Lings from Naka. Hangs asked, dude, why are these tier 2 players so good? It's because it's the end of the season, man. Like, we've all had practice. You know, we've been coached the whole time. We're fighting for our team's tournament lives here. All of these games in the semifinals have been really good of all the tiers. But here we have in the top left, victorious in the first game, once again the purple Zerg, Nom Naka. And in the bottom left, the teal Zerg, Nice Pants. Now, on a floor player map, what direction the Overlord Scout is always pretty important. And in this case, Nice Pants has gone in the right direction, whereas Naka has not. Now, the Overlords are so slow that, like, you can't wait till they get there to decide what build you do, but it's still very handy to get an idea of where the larvae are going, get the lair timing, things like that. So it's going to be a pretty big advantage for Nice Pants. Curious to see what builds the players go for this time. Are they going to stick with what they went last time? Well, for the case of Naka, no. Naka is getting an Overlord before any kind of pool here. Nice Pants so far sticking to the same build they had last time. Yeah, it's going to be at least a 12 full for both players, maybe 12 hatch. Oh, it's going to be 12 hatch for Naka. So kind of switching from the high aggression build to the basically the greediest build you can do here. Meanwhile, Nice Pants. Oh, so Nice Pants going for a hatchery in the main. So not having any pretense of mining from this hatchery, just going to use it for extra larvae, which, you know, is actually completely normal in this matchup. So Lightsworm says you gotta reverse scout with Obi if you are going 12 hatch, but what's reverse? Like going counterclockwise? Oh, I guess so. Like you would get to the main first rather than the natural. I don't know. I feel like it seems to me like it's mostly gonna be random. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So like you assume that the other player is going to scout clockwise, so that they'll hit the natural. So if you go counterclockwise, you'll actually run into their Overlord in the middle, and you'll know that they're going to scout you. Okay, that's fair. Ooh, I don't like this. I don't like this creep colony. Like, you should know, I guess, by like looking at the timing on the buildings, that like you have your pool faster than them. So why would you need the sunken, right? Like you both have 2 hatcheries, but you got a faster pool. There's no way that you need the sunk. No, we got Hella Bacon in the chat. What's up, dude? Good to see you. See, like I get this creep colony for Naka because Naka's still in the dark about what Nice Pants is doing, and like it's harder to defend this hatchery because it's down at the natural, but this one I just don't like it. But anyway, I think, yeah, again, so Nice Pants went for the lair before the speed here and actually was a little bit late on getting that speed started. Oh, manages to get to the ramp just in time, trying to take a defensive position here, but not quite the best arc, but still overall a victory for Nice Pants. Yeah, I think Hanks has it right. Like, if you have the 12 hatch in main, you have to attack because you can't get as much value from your hatchery as the one who actually expanded the natural. And actually, you can see that Naka has one more drone and is using 2 drones down here to mine, just a bit better for mining efficiency. But Nice Pants got that late link speed, so, you know, despite getting the pool faster, Naka actually has link speed first. Oh wait, I'm very confused about what I'm seeing here. Oh, there's no Spire for Nice Pants yet. I got confused by the production key here. Seems like maybe Nice Pants just not quite sure what to do. Missing a few beats here because there's no way, like, if you go for the faster pool and get lair before speed, like, there's really no reason not to get the Spire first. But actually, Naka is way ahead in that regard, even blocking a bit with the Evo Chamber just in time to screw up the pathing of the attacking Lings from Nice Pants. A really close fight here, but with some reinforcement Lings and the Sunken being done, Naka is going to hold this off. One Speedling makes it into the base. Will it get a single kill? No. And now the Spire is going to be up for Naka here. 2 mutas started immediately. Oh no. Like, I think Nice Pants is just like in the wrong mindset entirely. Like, I mean, it sucks that I guess you know that your Spire is a bit behind in timing here, but like, it shouldn't be, right? So there's no way that you should need to get this Evo and the 2 creep colonies. That's basically 3 drone kills that you just gave to your opponent and a bunch of money you're gonna waste on these spores. Like, I feel like Naka is gonna be like, oh, I expanded, and my opponent has 3 static defense buildings in their main. Like, and actually have Naka in the chat pointing out that without the sport, Nice Pants would just lose. But like I've been saying, like, there's no reason for there not to be a Spire. Oh, there's still not a Spire for Nice Pants. I thought it was started already. Yeah, but like there just should have been a Spire for Nice Pants. And now Naka basically has complete free reign here in this game. Oh, Naka canceled the Spire, so Naka killed the Spire with Lings. Oh my god. Naka casting this game from the chat better than I can live. Nice Pants determined to stay in this game. This is like when you play against like the AI Zerg and they just stay on one base and get a bunch of Sunkens. They just don't want to die. Nice Pants trying to make an attack here, but there's 2 Sunkens, there's some good Sim City, and there's a bunch of Lings and mutas here. This one Ling tries to kill a drone, gets picked off at the last second. Actually, I think some drones did die here, because I think it was like 18 drones for Naka, so while I was looking at the main, some more drone kills happened. Is it going to be enough, though? I don't think so. I think this next wave is going to get repelled. Oh, the mutas, I think, caught it there. But they're deciding to go for the main. There's only 1 spore. I'm pretty sure 6 mutas can kill 1 spore. Oh, never mind, there's 2 spores. I'm completely blind. Now, can 6 mutas be 2 spores? I'm not sure, but they can definitely just fly over and kill a bunch of drones before the spores can kill them. Things are hanging out here, trying not to get caught, maybe waiting for a time when the mutas are somewhere else to pounce. It seems like we've entered a period of tranquility here. Naka, I guess, scouting for overlords. Trying to get something done with these mutas. There you go. Finds one here in this corner. Getting the Carapace upgrade. Gonna make it that much easier to bust those spores later. Nice Pants actually getting some mutas of their own in the air, getting a bunch of Scourge. Gonna see how these players stack up in terms of their air micro here. Can be a very swingy fight here. If all the Scourge get their connections, then Nice Pants will wipe them out. Naka, and if not, Naka will win these superior numbers. And Naka diving in here onto the spores. Scourge getting a few hits here. I think it might be enough for the defender to carry this fight. Spore goes down, but at heavy cost. Scourge chasing here. I think, technically... Okay, so the muta counts are tied now. But... excuse me. But Naka's going to have an easier time rebuilding that count, given the second gas here. Dude, I need to stop drinking soda before I cast. I'm so burpy the entire time. There we go. And you know, for now, Nice Pants does have the muta lead, at least like at the actual battlefront. And a bunch of Scourge. No, you really don't want to kill Overlord with Scourge. Oh, 3 Scourge to kill an Overlord, not value right there. Doesn't even manage to supply block Naka. Does get 1 muta. There we go. Naka is back up to 7 mutas now. And we're actually at 7 for Nice Pants. So I think this might be the inflection point where Naka pulls ahead. Yeah, we're up to 10 now. Nice Pants trying to fly across the map here, make something happen, but with less mutas and without the spores here to help. Oh, and the move command is not going to help. If Naka can pull off a moving shot here, there's no way that Nice Pants can get away. Not quite happening, but still lots of free damage going on. Nice Pants making a dive here for the Sunkens, but I think there's enough links here to defend. Naka getting their own Scourge. Oh, somehow, though, all of the mutas of Nice Pants maneuvering to the main completely unopposed. Killing a bunch of drones. Isn't going to be enough, though, to equalize. Oh, the mutas overstay their welcome by just a few seconds. They're going to take a bunch of damage here. Naka pulling off that moving shot, making retreat impossible. Nice Pants decides to kill as many drones as possible. Actually pulls ahead for a brief second there. There we go. Oh my god, Naka getting brutal shots here with these mutas. And now, with 10 mutas versus 2 spore colonies, or, okay, 3 now. I think Naka can take this out, crack this base by taking the right angles here. Actually, just taking out this Evo, or this spore, might put the entire mineral line in danger here. Oh, if you take out the gas, no muta production can happen. Nice Pants starting to fly out on the map, trying to group up somewhere else. Rather than fight these 9 mutas. 7, I swear, I know how to count. If this gas goes down, I mean, Nice Pants is going to be stuck at the muta count that they're at now. Glaives allowing Naka to hit the spawning pool and then still get damage done on the mineral line. Nice Pants going to dive into the mineral line, though, of Naka. There's no spores here, no Scourge. Just 2 mutas are about to spawn. We actually do have a spore colony in the natural of Naka. But the main might be a forfeit, forcing Naka to retreat here. Nice Pants lives another day without gas. Nice Pants' time in this world is going to be very limited. Nice Pants types out with a GG and a smile, and Naka takes the series 2-0, bringing the final score for tonight to 1-4 in favor of Attitude Plus, but the score between the two teams is going to be 10-9. So finally, Destructoads break the curse. The #1 seeded team does make it to the finals. Attitude Plus just barely gets wiped out here. But you know what? As a member of Attitude Plus, I'm proud of us. We all fought hard. We did pretty good. It was a good season for us, I think. But that is going to be the end of my cast tonight. I believe Sate Zero is going to cast the last group of the semifinals tomorrow, and then we'll be able to get into the final. And that is going to be pretty cool. And then when we actually be done with this season, I feel like the season's taken a long time. But it might just be because I've gone through lots of important life stuff this season. Alright, I have a Tentat and NCX in the chat saying thanks. Thank you guys. I appreciate it when you watch. Let me find somebody who's playing StarCraft to raid. Oh, we got G5. Alright, he's a CPL coach. It makes sense. It's synergy. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to try to cast at least one series next week, so check me out. And goodbye.